call will be recorded.
Hey, you.
Hey.
So, everybody, I want to welcome to my channel Nadia of Lady Jaynes Bewitchery. She has an online shop and an online presence that is amazing. Nadia, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope you don't hear me. I'm closing a desk drawer because I had it open. I was trying to lean forward. I thought I could put my boobs in the drawer.
That would hurt.
So, I have to tell you that I conferred with Ember on some questions to ask, and she gave me a good one.
Oh, wow.
But I told her we couldn't ask you about your nightly sexual habits. No.
Yeah.
No.
Don't want to bore people.
So, you own a store. Tell people a little bit about yourself and just about your store just to start us off.
Okay. Well, the store is easier to start with. Ages ago, we're not going to count how many years because no. I actually worked at a metaphysical shop out here in Southern California. I was friends with the owner at the time, and so many people who came in. She basically didn't have staff. But she had me helping her out because she trusted me as a friend. And people started coming in specifically asking for me for love spells. And so she suggested to me that I should start an online shop called Sexy Witchy and just focus on love magic. And I did that. And then people were enjoying the results of things from that shop, and they said, but I'm having trouble with money and I need protection. And so I said, okay, Sexy Witchy is just going to be a line, and we're going to expand into By Light of the Moon. And that was like my shop for about 13 years, maybe 15 years. That was the name of my shop, was By Light of the Moon. And then honestly, it was graphics that kind of pushed me a lot. Because it was like a red moon on a black background, and that just is really not cool when you're trying to make labels. So, and I'm very OCD, so like it had to match and what have you. So it was time for a change for a few reasons, and that just pushed me. And so, I renamed it and gave the shop a new face, and it's Lady Jaynes Bewitchery. And my intention with my shop is to provide quality magical products. And by quality, I mean, yes, quality in the magic and energy they hold and what they can do for you, but also that you enjoy using. Incense that doesn't have a chemically back smell or doesn't make excess. Well, obviously it makes smoke, but not the kind that stays on the paint in your, on your walls. Oils all my oils are essential oils only. That's mostly because my daughters are allergic to a lot of synthetic fragrances. Mm-hmm. So for our own use, I was using only essential oils, and that's just what I expanded into the shop. And I think that it has a lot to do with how the scent carries in candles, in the incense, and in the bath salts and things like that. So I wanted a quality product that you would enjoy even if you weren't purchasing it for magical purposes, but definitely that kicked ass magically.
Exactly. Now, my first question was, why did you want to have a store? You kind of answered that by somebody pushing you to it, but did you actually ever have in the back of your head, gosh, I'm going to have a, super successful shop on the internet? Did that ever occur to you before that?
Well, not really. I knew I always wanted to have my own business, and I had. Since I was much younger, I guess I just didn't groove on working for other people. But I had never thought about it magically. Actually, at the time that I opened my first online shop, I was not publicly out as a witch to most people, to the point that I probably would have lost custody of my kids if it had become too well known. So yeah, it was a juggle, but I always wanted to have my own business. I always knew that I could, I would, I should. Exactly what it was going to be, I didn't even know that it was going to be retail per se. Honestly, I probably would have, if I was going to guess when I was younger, I would have thought marketing or, some kind of thing like that for people. But yeah, it just took off.
Now, you're a fellow reader, right? You also do readings through your shop?
Yes, I do. I've been reading for about 20 years. That I also started back when I worked for somebody else, and I had read for myself, I had read for friends, but I wasn't really comfortable with doing it. And again, it was kind of one of those things, the reader's out today, too bad, there are people walking in the door, do it. And so, and so I did. I do offer readings through my site. I do them by email, just because I don't have a space. Local people are getting frustrated with me because like, can't you read me in person? I'm like, nope. I don't have a space for that. I don't have a storefront at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's just online. Yeah, it's one of the services I offer there.
Okay, absolutely fun. And y'all definitely, I'm going to put her information in the background, or in the drop down, so that you can go look at her shop. I have product from Nadia. Love the stuff. Her incense is the bomb. She makes wonderful candles that have rich scents. You know how some of them, they smell nice, but then they kind of fade. Hers don't really fade. They have a richness to them that I really like. So, and I heard about her through Ember Honeyraven. And Ember and I are friends. We did our Witchy Women Wednesday last night. I got to name it something else, so I can't say it. But she gave me a question to ask you.
Oh boy.
She says, has your own heritage influenced your path or spiritual direction?
Yes, it has. It's funny. I was thinking about that this morning, because because of a client question. But to answer Ember's question through you, yes, it does. It's not entirely like I just follow what that was. For anybody who's not exactly sure what we're referring to, my great-grandmother is from Romania. She was a gypsy witch, I guess is the technical term. I don't know if there are little boxes that we can really put any of ourselves in, but okay, let's try. She was known, I guess, more as a gypsy because back then and back there, that's what they were known as. What she practiced, definitely, when you look at it, is hands-on witchcraft. It was the herbs. It was reading tea leaves. It was reading cards. I mean, I remember when I was little, I did not have nearly enough time with her before she passed, but I remember people coming over and not understanding why when they came over for tea, she would dump it out and then stare in the cup like, well, of course it's not there. I'm like, I didn't know for the longest time she was looking at the tea leaves. So a lot of what the fact that I practice is definitely, I'm going to say, empowered and inspired by the fact that she did. Do I practice exactly like she did? No. I think that I've studied different paths. I've just, for my own curiosity, not even for my own practice. And there's just so much, we tend to absorb and just alchemize into what we do from here and there, not trying to be messy or a mishmash, but we just absorb and we make things. It definitely inspires a lot. People ask me all the time, this is what came up this morning, it's a very typical question. How do I become a gypsy? Well, it's not a thing you can become, and it's not even a magical term per se.
Mm-hmm.
They're a nomadic people. Not all of them were religious. Most were Catholic, actually. It's just not a thing like that. And it's not. It just because she was doesn't mean I automatically feel I have to be.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be able to pull from that.
Now, is her picture the one you have on Lady Jayne's Bewitchery?
Yes, it is. That is my great-grams. And it's funny, she's there because when I first started Lady Jayne's, when I gave it this whole new face, and it was this Victorian witchy thing, and it was black and white was going to be really easy for those labels. And I used a logo, and then suddenly I noticed somebody else using my logo online. Oh yeah, that did not please me. And I contacted the person and said, hey, that's not so cool. And well, it was just, instead of cyber arm wrestling some person with inane concepts of ethics, I just said, you know what, time for another decor change. And I changed it to the earthy tones, and because those colors went with that old photograph coloring, the sepia coloring, but that is my grams, and I figured nobody's going to dare steal her picture and claim her to be theirs. They wouldn't be that dumb. But yes, that is her.
Awesome. I love that picture. I love old pictures, so It's really, it made me like your shop immediately.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Now, let's see. What's the most challenging thing to you for being a store owner, for being a business owner, in a spiritual sense?
I was just going to ask you, challenging business-wise or challenging spiritually? Challenging spiritually for me, people come to people like us. They come for a reading, they come for products because usually, not always, sometimes they're just looking to expand their spirituality, but usually because there's something going on in their life, there's a problem, and they're looking for a fix. And, well, I shouldn't say it that way. They're looking for something to fix it, not a fix per se. But they're looking for a solution. And part of the challenge for me is that when you show somebody what to do and you know it will work for them, specifically in their situation, and they just kind of can't be bothered, or they light a candle and they wait for things to change, and that's an important hands-on part, but it's not where it's at. And that, to me, it's so challenging to the point that it's often made me wonder if I should just stop doing this, because it hurts. Like, you know that they need help. They need it enough that they asked for it, that they reached out, that they paid for something. And yet you just can't inspire them enough, or you can't convince them enough that they really can. And I'm thinking, if I can't do that, then I shouldn't be doing this. I have these arguments with myself in my head. And so that's what challenges me the most on a spiritual/emotional level.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I never really thought about it like that. I get that feeling of frustration when somebody comes back to me for the same reading.
Yes.
Now people come back to me for the same subject, but it's a different issue. That's cool.
Right.
But, I've had the same, like, how do I get out of this bad job? Until I just want to go, quit. Just quit. That's how you get out of the bad job. You just say, I'm done.
Right.
But, so what's the most rewarding thing in a spiritual sense about your business? I mean, what brings you joy? I'm a joy seeker.
That is true. And I guess the very flip side of that same thing, when you see that somebody has had a major change in their life, that they've either changed their life entirely or that they have relief, they finally feel safe from whoever was bothering them. They finally have some finances coming in, and there's I can breathe and feed my family. They found somebody who is a great friend or a great love, and it just totally opened them up. The fact that you can facilitate, because I don't do it. I mean, it's not me doing it. I'm just kind of like the vehicle or the carpool driver, helping them get from where they are to where they really want to and need to be. And when they get there, or when they even start to feel that empowerment that, yes, I can, I lit this candle and I found $20 on the ground and I still need a job, but I know what's happening. When they have that to me makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
That, when people tell me my stuff smells good.
I actually where is it? I have a transcendence candle waiting. I'm looking at the paper I have. And on your manifestation candle, but I've used your incense. Now, what I haven't done, y'all, she sent me some samples. And I got to tell you, these samples sound intriguing. Where are they? You can see I've got kind of an incense issue. They're right in my hand. I have chocolate. And I also have, I believe it was called Midnight Margarita. Yes. Yummy.
I watch a little bit too much Practical Magic. What can I say?
Yeah. Oh, you put the lime in the coconut. But y'all really need to check her stuff out because she's got some amazing products. And, sample the stuff. Go in and see what you like and then go back and get more. Now, how does your spiritual practice affect your business mission? You talked a little bit about that in the very beginning, but I wanted to kind of go a little more into that.
I think it does in two ways. One is very much my spiritual practice, and for me that is very intermingled with my beliefs, and I can't separate. I'm not. Oh boy, I'm stuttering. That's great. I'm not really great at separating my ethics from my spiritual beliefs from my spiritual practice. To me, they are one thing. And so the way that my spiritual practice, let's call it that, affects my business, I believe is very much the way it affects everything in my life. So business ethics are very fueled by the standards and the beliefs that I have about how to treat other people, how to handle myself, in certain situations. Do I cyber arm wrestle that chick from my logo? Or do I just say, good luck to you and keep on going? It's like, so to me, so it affects how I do business in terms of how I handle myself, which is really how it affects everything in my life. Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, maybe a little deeper, and I'm not sure if this is what you were more angling for, I believe that if we have certain gifts and abilities, not everybody has the same ones. Everybody has something. Everybody, I think, has a lot. Everybody has different ones. And so I think we're all supposed to. It's like a double-edged sword kind of thing. It's a gift and it's a responsibility at the same time to use them. And in some form, maybe, I used to teach seminars and do events, and I don't want to do that anymore. But maybe in some different format, I'm supposed to be facilitating people, helping people with the gifts that I have, whether it's writing, whether it's making a candle, whether it's telling them how to really look into what it is they want. So many people, especially in love stuff, but really even in money stuff, I want a job, I want this kind of job. Okay, why? You've been trying for that. On paper, you look good for it. There's got to be something that's holding it back. Maybe you don't believe you can, but that's sometimes it. What is it you're really looking for there? It's job security. It's prestige. I don't feel like I'll ever need to look for another job again because that's as far as I want to go. Oh, so why don't you ask for that and see what comes up? Because you might be really surprised. So whatever skills you have, whether it's breaking it down for people like that or any of it, I believe I'm required to. I'm responsible to use. So very much my practice, my beliefs, what I got and what I can do makes me do this, even on days when I don't feel like it.
Right. That to me sounds like spiritual wrangling, right? You're wrangling people into the right paths for themselves. You're helping them see their own channels. And sometimes we're in the wrong channels. I was in the wrong channel for years, doing a different type of reading that I was good at it.
Right.
But it didn't fulfill me.
That's right.
Once I moved into a conversational tarot reading, it changed how I read and how I felt and how I connected with my work. And I use work in a big W here as a tarot reader. I'm a big proponent of little work and big work. I think that we have big work, which is just kind of what you were talking about, and then the little work, the stuff we do just to get by and pay the bills.
Right.
So, and you have to adjust yourself. You can find your big work in your little work sometimes. You can bring it in and make it a part of.
Definitely.
And I think that people like Nadia I'm talking to the audience, I guess, people like Nadia, I'm not talking about you in the third person, can help by, crafting specific candles and specific rituals and specific work, doing tarot readings, and, she's a full package in that way. If with me, I'm more of a tarot reader. I do your tarot conversation. I might give you some ideas on how to do some spell work, but I'm not going to be the person that puts the package together and helps you do that. But I think that that's something you offer with your tarot readings. Am I right?
I do. At the end of them, I can't seem to help myself. It's that compulsive mommy thing, I think. And now what you should do is, and give some very helpful, I tend to give people ideas. It used to be where I try to not copy, but the business model was you get a reading and then you can get a consultation. And I didn't do this. I think I even took it down off my site. I don't know. My site and editing has been like, ooh, I'm behind. But it used to be lots of places still have, you get a reading and then you get a consultation on what you should do with what you just found out from the reading. And to me, that always felt very inorganic. It just wasn't right. It's like, how do you just give somebody information? It's like throwing a bunch of ingredients on the table and not telling them how to make the cake, not even giving them the recipe. Yeah. It felt wrong. So to me, I kind of always, some people who I don't know, like if they're new or whatever, or if they don't practice but they were looking for a reading, I offer and ask them if they'd like ideas, let me know. Um, Otherwise, I tend to, just say, this is the type of thing you can look into. If you need more details, let me know. And I do put together spell kits and ritual kits. And I always write there, okay, like this, put this here, do this. But I also say, and you can say this or something similar,
Yeah.
because it's not that my words are not the magic thing. This isn't Harry Potter, or what have you. I wish, but it's just to give you an idea of what to say, to give some direction to it. So because people, a lot of times you get information, then you're like, whoa, what do I do with that? And I know how that feels, because sometimes when I get too good of an astrology report on my chart or forecast, I'm like, that's awesome. Now what? So I try to put it together for people and give them at least an idea, a constructive idea.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons when I do a Skype reading, I put it up on a private YouTube channel for people. Because, if you've done a reading with me, you've got blah, 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 blah from me. And, sometimes I look at people and they've got this fire hose look like, thanks, Arwen, that was awesome. What the frick did you just tell me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do that. So you if you get a reading from me, you go back, you pause it, you look, you can take notes at that point.
I did. I definitely rewatched.
Yeah. So it's but I liked it, because even if you did a reading for me and you sent me a list, you said, here are some spell kits that you might be interested in with links to it, to your site. That would be something I'd absolutely click through and go look at and read what's in it. And because I'm a witch, hey, maybe I've got some of the stuff already.
Right.
And because I'm a witch, hey, maybe I'm like, oh, cool, easy peasy, let me have it. Because I do buy spell kits. I got one from Bridget over at Two Crows.
Right.
And I am absolutely, if I've got something a little more convenient than going and digging through my own cabinets and finding everything, I'm going to jump on it. I'm Pisces, I've got a lazy bone.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you the very last question, because I know I've taken up a lot of your valuable time today. No, that was the last question. What's your best advice for someone who wants to do what you are doing in terms of being a spiritual business owner?
Do it your way. And truly, because anytime I've tripped or frustrated myself, I have, like I was saying before with business model, you cannot succeed, not just financially, but you're not going to be able to it's going to be like being on a hamster wheel if you try to keep up with the shop next to you. I don't sell cauldrons and candlesticks and incense burners. And for a while I was freaked out. Well, if I don't, then they're going to go to this site and they're going to buy the incense burner. And while they're there, they'll buy that incense and they won't buy my incense. So I better sell incense burners too. I'm like, oh, holy crap. I cannot become Target or Sears of witchy stuff to have everything. You have to truly believe. And if you can't hold this belief, then check what you're doing in your own practice for your own belief system, let alone what you believe in business. You have to believe that whoever needs you and will resonate with what you offer will come to you and will purchase what you get, even if they then do go to some other place and buy the cauldron or incense burner or even an additional candle there. I obviously have peers who have shops similar to mine, and the one-upmanship, and then it starts to become then the thing of, well, this one doesn't really make it right, this is why mine's better. I don't compare myself to anybody at all. I can't, because I don't want to look down on them. I don't want to judge them. I'm never going to say that to somebody else or project that out there. And also when you're making products, if you're making products or even how you offer services like you do, you have to do it in the way that kind of comes up in you creatively.
Yes.
What you feel called to make or called to offer, not what you think will sell. Because I'm watching people do that who I respect a lot in, other ways. And it just it loses something for me. There's that marketing vibe, that mercenary vibe that comes in. And yes, we have to pay our bills. Listen to what comes up in you. Offer that, because that's what you're here for.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got that happens in fiction writing. I know you're also a writer,
Yeah.
And in romance writing, a lot of people are like, well, what's the trend right now? Well,
Right.
unfortunately, if the trend right now is vampire hamsters, and you write a vampire hamster book, well, generally it takes you at least, a couple months to write a book and then another couple months to polish it up. Then even if you go out and publish it yourself, you're still 7 months past the trend.
Right.
And they may have moved on to corgi werewolves.
And why would you want to be one more vampire hamster? The market's already flooded with that.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a really interesting thing, and you'll see really successful authors who go off and do something completely different, and they open up a whole new world because
Yeah.
they've stepped away from it. Kresley Cole writes a paranormal series, Immortals After Dark, I think is the name of it. And she wrote a YA series, and I thought, well, it sounds interesting. It's called the Arcana Chronicles,
Nice.
and it's based on tarot. And the first one's called Poison Princess. I'll drop a link down there. And I read it, and I have to tell you that one of the things I woke up this morning thinking was, ooh, 6 weeks to the next book. I mean, seriously, that book was on my
Nice.
mind because it's such a good series.
Right.
And that's what you need to write. That's what you need to create. Create what your heart tells you to create. Don't create what your internal editor says you should.
Yeah.
It should over want. In this case, you want. That's your big thing. So I've learned a lot about you. I mean, we've talked before and we've chit-chatted online, and I watch your channel. But I really appreciate your coming by. Hi, Nadia. Right? But I really appreciate your stopping by and sharing with my channel. And I'm going to link people down to everything we need to link to, so I'll get information from you through Messenger. But is there anything you want to end up with? Anything last minute thing you need to say to folks?
Well, first to you, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate saying hi to everybody on your channel. I really appreciate that. And I mean, I watch you all the time, so I know that other people are. And so hi to all of you, and come on by. Any last thing? It's going to kind of echo some of the other things I've said, but it really is how I try to be, how I try to do my business, how I try to do my practice, but it's really been hammered at me this year a lot. So it's my parting message of 2015. Be you. You have to be you, and do not let anybody else tell you what that even means. Because a lot of people will encourage you, like I am, to be you, but I will never tell you how to be Arwen. Only you know how to be Arwen. Only I know how to be Nadia. And they're people we trust and respect, and we should. They're awesome, but they don't know you like you know you. So trust that. Your magic will improve. Your money will improve. Everything. So there you go.
Brilliant. Everybody, I'm Arwen of Tarot by Arwen. This has been Nadia of Lady Jayne's Bewitchery. And as always, seek joy, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Gotta find the button. I never can find the button.
Me neither.